Hey everybody, it's day 20 of the March Mood Mindfulness Challenge, and today we're talking about growth. So we've been talking about the 6 core needs and just quickly recapping them. When we start off in any situation, we're looking for certainty, we're looking for comfort, we're looking for safety and security. When we have enough of that, we then realize we're just a little bit bored and we start looking for variety and adventure and challenge. From there, we start looking for the meaningful things in life, the uniqueness of things. We find out how special we are or how unique we are. And we then move into belonging in situations, belonging to people, connecting with people, falling in love with people, places, and the things that we do. From here, these are the 4 core needs of the self, the 4 core needs of identity. And we then start to experience another need, which is the need for growth. Essentially, growth happens once the first 4 needs are taken care of, and growth relates to the need of the soul, the spirit. And really, life is all about growth. In life, we are either growing or we are dying. If you think of plants, if you think of a flower, to be more specific, a flower will grow and then it will start dying. Cells in our body, they will grow and then they start dying. The human being grows to a certain capacity and then starts dying. There are no plateaus. You'll notice that things progress until they get stuck and then they die off. So, for example, your dreams start accumulating, you visualizing and thinking about it, and you wanting and wishing, and then if you don't do anything about it, your dreams go away. Relationships, when you have a relationship and you start working at it and keeping it going and progressing the relationship, it's great. When you cut off things that the relationship needs, it starts going down. Any progress in our life is always either we are working on it or we let it go and it dies off. So life is all about growth when you think of it. The one thing you're focusing on is the one thing you've got all your energy on and your attention on. That is the one thing that's keeping on going in your life. The other areas of your life where you are not focusing on, they are the areas that have no growth. The interesting thing here is growth comes about because we feel that there is a reason to get from where you are to where you want to be. And basically, that's just the definition of growth, right? Where you are today to where you want to be in the future, and bridging the gap between where you are and where you'd like to be. There is some stage in our life when we have enough of the pain. We have enough of things as they were. There's enough pain of it right here, right now. So it was painful yesterday. It's still painful today. And I can see if I don't do anything about it, it's still going to be painful tomorrow. The reason we choose to bridge that gap is because we believe there's something inside us that's worthy of achieving that goal in the end. And the fact of the matter is, it's actually not the goal that we're seeking. It's who we are becoming as we reach that goal. And it's who we value in ourselves and who we want to discover and what we want to discover about ourselves. That is the whole goal of going on that growth journey. So if you look at a child who looks around and sees that other children are running or walking and running, other animals are walking and running, their parents are walking and running, that child has a wish, has a dream, wants to be like everyone else, believes that they themselves has the capacity within them, has the right to do what everybody else is doing. And you will notice how that child will take that first step to achieve that goal. Now, who they're being in that moment, as they're being curious, adventurous, brave, all those qualities. And even though the first step might be a misstep and a challenge, you will always find a child dust themselves off and want to try again. Now, what is that? That is the human nature in all of us. And for those who are courageous and those who are brave enough, and the goal that they've set for themselves is that important, you will be that child who achieves the goal of walking and then running. Unless there is a major defect in a child will stand and walk and run. And that is how I see all the goals that I can think of as being achievable. They are simply as easy as that. I think back to, I don't remember what it was like when I didn't, and when I couldn't stand and walk, but it must have been so painful that I could see everybody around me walking and running. I must have wanted it so bad. I must have had that dream to walk and run and to have freedom, to make me stretch myself and want to take that step and walk and become a different version of myself. It's the best example I can give. And if you think back, if you think of all your future problems in that way, in that in the past there was a problem that seemed insurmountable, yet there was hunger inside you for that goal, walking, running, and you've already achieved it once, you can achieve the next goal that you set yourself for. So one thing I wanted to share with you, which fits beautifully in this topic of growth, is how we navigate growth. So we start off in a comfort zone, and in a comfort zone, we feel safe, we're controlled, we have certainty. But as I said earlier, after a while, we start to feel the pain of whatever is happening inside our comfort zone. Sooner or later, you will see other people wanting to get out of your comfort zone, and your comfort zone starts becoming smaller and tighter and tighter. So for example, you were happy in your family with your little kids. Sooner or later, your little kids will start to move out of the nest, and you'll find yourself having to move with them or losing a part of, say, the relationship that you have with them. And in order to keep the relationship up, you need to start getting out of your comfort zone. So the first thing that pops up for us when we start to leave our comfort zone is fear. And we're now in the fear zone. The fear zone is where we recognize that it's uncomfortable, and then we start to hear our own excuses. I don't like to talk to people. I don't like to run. I don't like this food. I don't like to meet that person. I don't know how to. So the lack of self-confidence. And it makes sense, because when we're starting something new, we don't have the capacity, we don't have the skills, we don't have the confidence. So of course it makes sense that fear comes up for us. But what helps here is knowing that there is a fear zone that you need to break through, and there is something past the fear zone, which is called the learning zone. The learning zone is how we start dealing with the problems that start coming up for us. This is where we're learning new things, practicing new things, putting new qualities up. So, being brave, being courageous, being kind. You start to implement all the things that you didn't think of implementing before. You were unconsciously doing them and comfortable doing them, so you weren't aware of them. But here in the learning zone, you actually have to be mindfully aware of everything you're doing and how it relates to the goal that you're trying to achieve. And sooner or later, as you repeat, as you're committed, as you're persistent, and as you're consistent, and this is where all the habits and all the mindset, that I'm just learning, I'm learning. There is no such thing as failure. It's just feedback. All the beautiful things you tell yourself, all the beautiful ways you shift from a closed mindset to an open mindset. This is the whole part where your belief system comes in and is changed, because between the fear zone and the learning zone is a closed mindset, and the how we move into the learning zone is to start to crack open that belief system and insert new beliefs that empower you to help you get to your goal. Once you're through the learning zone, and this will take however long it takes for you, it's different for everybody, and it does take time. How much time, you can never tell, but you just let it grow organically and just enjoy the journey. After here is the growth zone. The growth zone is where you find the purpose, the reason why you want that big goal in the first place. It could be the same reason as here, but sometimes, more often than not, you will find new purposes to whatever it is you're doing, and that is where the need really starts to show here. At times, we make that decision out of a want. And then you find out later, actually, I needed to do this because of a different reason, not the one I started off with. And that's the magic of living. This is where you're actually living your dream. This is where you're setting new goals. This is where you realize just how powerful you are, just how wonderful you are, just how full of capacity you are, and that nothing can stop you. One thing I wanted to add here was there is another zone past the growth zone. You guys will recognize it as stress. All right, there's your comfort zone, there's the growth zone. When we push ourselves too much and we want to do too much too soon, we do enter a new zone called the stress zone, also called overwhelm. This is where we're pushing ourselves too much. This is where we're not trusting ourselves, we're not trusting the process, we're not trusting the people who are there to guide us. And we create a lot of unnecessary burden for us. It's past the growth zone, it's past capacity, it's overburdening yourself. And we do it to ourselves, you guys. So if you recognize that you're stressed, it's really crucial that you bring it back out of the stress zone into your learning zone, into your growth zone, even maybe back to your learning zone, and just realize that, okay, I thought I was an expert here, but actually no, I'm still learning. I don't have to do everything so perfectly. You put that pressure on yourself and you just say, just learning. I'm learning. It doesn't have to be perfect today. This is good enough for today. And just that mindset will be able to flick you out of the stress zone into a growth zone once more, where you're actually enjoying the goal, the journey that you're on to grow. Now, the one thing I wanted to share with you is that the law of familiarity is what hinders the growth period for us. So law of familiarity basically is where we find our comfort zone. When we start doing things the same, and when things become easy for us and meaningful things become more like a chore or a task, this is where we start altering the perception. So now, instead of something being so amazing, the new relationship, the new class I'm taking, the new job that I've got, the new book that I'm reading, instead of it being the wonderful goal that you had, it's now becoming just familiar, and it alters our perception by changing our gratitude. When we're exposed to someone or something for too long, our appreciation for it goes down, and that is the law of familiarity. It's a given. There are 5 steps to overcome the trap of losing gratitude or appreciation for something that you've just achieved, right? So the first step is mindfulness, is just to be aware. Be aware of, here I go, I'm about to do the same thing. Be aware of, there's such thing called the law of familiarity, where when we do something so often, when we see someone so often, when something's in our life all the time, there is a tendency to lose appreciation for it. So the first thing is mindfulness. The second thing is practicing daily gratitude for that one thing that is constant in your life. To be mindful for it and to be aware of it and to be grateful for it. So if you wake up every morning and see your cat, it's being grateful for the cat. Good morning, beautiful cat. You're looking extra fluffy this morning, or you're extra vocal today. Have you got something beautiful to say? Really go out of your way to acknowledge the thing and what that thing gives you and how it makes you happy. And that's just an easy way to be grateful for something in your life. It's like, teenagers, and I have two, and probably why I talk a little bit about teenagers, it's because morning, sweetheart, right? So it's acknowledging that there's a mom in your life. Hey mom, you're looking extra perky this morning. Or that's my mom, she's singing this song today. So it's just being aware of that in your life and remembering why you love it so much. So that's step 2. Step 3 is to add variety. So for example, you go to your job every single day and it's the same old. You park in the same spot, you tag on, same place, at the same time, you see the same people, you do the same thing. We're here again. And so starting to take it for granted. So the key here is to add a little bit of variety. Today I'm going to perhaps talk to one person a little bit more. Today I'm going to bring in a cake for morning tea. Today I'm going to bring in fresh fruit platter. Today for lunch we are going to eat lunch outside in the garden for once. With my work I'm going to try to finish it this way. So whatever way you can to add variety to whatever it is that you're doing every day will spice it up and make it seem just a little bit shiny, just a little bit new, and finding other and new ways to love that thing that you have in your life every single day. The fourth way to overcome the law of familiarity and losing appreciation for it is, to drop into your heart. A lot of the times we're so in our heads, we're like, here we go again, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, and then we're going to do it, and it becomes a structure and a process, and we kind of lose our connection to it. The best way to realize how this thing in your life is actually contributing to the meaning of your life is to drop into your heart and really understand and feel what it means to you and what your life could possibly look like without this in your life. So without this job, how would my life be? Without this kitty cat in your life, how would this be? Without my partner in my life, greeting me every day, taking out the garbage every day, cooking me that meal on that one day, how would my life be? Going to bed at night without that, how would my life be? And acknowledge just how much that person does, or that a career does, how that pet does contribute to your life in such a positive way. And the fifth way to overcome losing gratitude for things that are always there in your life is to be the best part of you. Like sometimes we're just like, oh, same old, no big deal. Everybody knows me at work, so I just can be my grumpy old self. What are they going to do about it? Well, the best thing is to bring the best of us and to be so happy with who we are and shine who we are, the best of us, to other people. Just always having a smile, always having positive thoughts for things that happen. We are able to vibrate at a certain frequency, a certain vibration, and good vibrations are really contagious. And so are bad. But the thing is, people are attracted to good vibrations. People want to be around people who are happy and positive. Most of the time. Sometimes people are way too positive, and there's a disparity between those who are positive and those who are negative. So that's why it's good to bring it down to like a neutral, grateful attitude, so that we are able to touch those who are just that little bit down and be with them and help them through whatever it is they're going through, because people all around us have problems in their life. So to be the best of us and to bring the best of us, we'll immediately share that with the people around us, and you'll notice how you have an impact on people around you and help bring them up from their negative state, from their pain, from their problems, into a more grateful place to be. Notice where you're growing in your life. Notice where your comfort zone is. Notice if you're in a fear zone. Notice if you're in a learning zone. Also notice if you're in a stress zone. Notice where you are along that curve and bring it down or bring it up, and live your best life with total mindfulness and total awareness of where you are and where you want to be. So the quote of the day was by Abraham Maslow, and Abraham Maslow is the psychologist who brought up Maslow's pyramid of needs. At any given moment, we have two options, whether it's to step forward in growth or to step back into safety and security. And we're always making those choices. You're always either moving forward or moving back. So you choose where you want to be. It's your life after all. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video.